Beautiful day here in Texas. We're at Texas Racing Concepts in Haslett. We're here to get Andrea's Yukon that we did the DOD delete and the stage 1 cam swap done. We're here to get it tuned and dyno tuned. So got it in here on the dyno right now, and we'll see what we get done, what numbers it pulls. Well, we're back here at the home shop. We had Justin over there tuning it, and on the last pull, cylinder 8 started misfiring, which cylinder 8 is the back one, very back one on the passenger side. It was too hot, obviously, there to attempt to try and take anything apart to see if it was something as simple as spark plug or the wire. So he said go ahead and load it back on the trailer, take it home, and once you get it figured out, let him know. He'll come see me to do the final portions of it, but for the most part everything was done. So here we are, back in the shop, hopefully finding something that's not so detrimental. Yeah, all you can do is keep moving forward, don't ever stop, and let's see what I come up with. Let's see what I find. Hang tight, and I'm gonna get on the lift and we'll put it in the air and take a peek. This is what the look of disappointment is. I won't say defeat because I'm still plugging away, but disappointment for sure. Got the intake back off, have this valve cover off, have the 2 rockers off on cylinder 8. Me and LJ, we switched coils first just because, and wires, then ran compression, and 0, absolutely none. We do a leak down test, put shop air into the cylinder with both the valves closed, and we can hear air going somewhere, not a whole lot, but some. Not enough to where we would think it would be registering 0. So we pretty much checked several things for a couple hours this evening and have struck out every time at bat tonight. So, gonna make a couple of contacts tomorrow, and most likely this is coming back out, back apart, because really it boils down to it wasn't doing that before, and has to be something that I've touched or related to something that I've touched. So just keep rolling with the punches. Get knocked down, get back up. It's part of it. So here we go. We'll check back in once we get back on it, which will be tomorrow evening. Have a good night. All right. Night 2 of re-diag after reassembly of the Yukon. I'm going to pull the fuel injectors, the fuel rail on this side, and look at the seals. Obviously primarily back there for cylinder 8, but we'll look at all of them. I spoke to the tuner today and he said you should check the injector seals, primarily because when he said, did you replace them? I said, oh shit. No, I did not. Kind of a dumb move. Probably should have, with how they were stuck in there. I thought I gave them a decent look. Maybe I didn't. But that is a, hopefully, area where something could be causing this fault or issue that I'm having right now that I did not do, and is going to be fairly easy to correct if that's the problem. Hopefully that's the problem. So I'm going to pull them out and we'll see what we see. Hang tight. Alright, so I've got the fuel rail out. I actually already pulled the injector, little black Teflon, these little doodadders off, and I actually already started installing the new ones. So this is just on the passenger side of the motor. This is actually number 8 right here, so this would have been the one in question. I don't know. I was hoping that when I pulled it out, I was going to see one of those O-rings cracked, split, missing. They were both on there, and they weren't super hard. They were actually still kind of pliable, but of course they were flat. GM does say they're one-time use, and we're going to stick these ones on there, stick this fuel rail back in, and check compression on that cylinder and see if something changed. I hope. We'll see. Got all the injector seals, at least these. I didn't pull the injectors out of the rail, so that stands to reason I shouldn't need to do anything with those, so I'm not. And those in there would have no bearance on compression. So again, replaced all 8 of these. Of course, these are, from what I understand, these here actually do not serve a per se sealing purpose into the head. Only these are supposed to help keep a bunch of gunk and stuff from getting in there and causing them to be stuck in the head. I guess prior to maybe 16, these are not going to be found on these GM direct injections. It's just the injector without this, and the original ones on here were white. This being a 17, it had them. Let's stick them in and run a compression test. We'll be back in a minute. Fuel rail reinstalled. I have both of the injector harnesses unplugged and the high pressure pump unplugged, as well as I went ahead and pulled the fuel pump prime relay as well to try and prevent as much fuel from coming up here. Do have all the fuel lines still off, so hopefully we don't get any fuel up here. Now it's time to crank it and see if anything's different on that. Go ahead. Okay, so I am back out here trying to figure out what went wrong with the Yukon. Here I am beating myself up thinking it's got to be something you've done. You touched it, you broke it. Well, technically I did touch it, and It's is kind of a result of me working on it, but I went ahead and took it back apart again, just this side. I pulled the intake off, valve cover, pulled cylinder 8 intake and exhaust rocker arms back off, and I pulled the manifold off, which, let me tell you, I hate working with stupid manifolds. I got one bolt to come off cleanly. Let's see. Well, I don't even know where I put them. No worries. I got one bolt to come out cleanly, or excuse me, one nut to come out cleanly, and then the other two rounded off. So of course I spent quite a bit of time beating the shit out of a smaller socket on, and this nut started coming off, and then it stopped and pulled the stud out. I'm fine with that. And then this one came off. So I got a success there, win there. Didn't end up having to actually cut anything this time, but it did allow me to get the manifold off, which, as you can tell, gives me great more viewability and access to things on this side. So now I can see inside the exhaust part of cylinder 8, which, I mean, doesn't look really any different than the other ones. But the other night, me and LJ were in here, manifold was on, and we were doing a leak down test. We could hear air going somewhere, but could not hear it strongly anywhere. And then when we would disconnect shop air from it, a lot would come back like it was a small leak. Well, I found where our air was going, and let me show you. Or attempt to show you, for that matter. Alright, I'm going to hook up shop air and shoot it into cylinder 8. And I can hear it. Sure, you guys can hear it. And I'm going to cover up the exhaust for 8. That's where it's coming out at. Which means the valve in there is not seated for whatever reason. Maybe that valve spring is not, maybe it's broken there, I don't know. I haven't looked at that closely yet, but maybe it's not pulling the valve up enough. Maybe, I don't know. Something's wrong where that valve is not seating in there, and that is what's causing, that's where my leak is. So, hooray me. I still have to pull the head off, but at least I know I've confirmed something. And that something is, I really don't see that that's something I've done. It's got to be a part failure with the valve spring, maybe the machining when it was installed, I don't know. We're not going to point fingers yet. The only finger that I'm not pointing anymore at this point in time is at me. Although I do feel a little better, I still have to take it back apart. And, well, I really hate doing things twice. But that's where we're at. So, I will call it a night tonight and pick back up probably tomorrow and show you what we find when we disassemble. Have a good night. What a beautiful Sunday morning it is. A little breezy outside, but it's not cold. Although here, we're going to have another 36-degree night, morning, whatever, coming up this Wednesday, which is BS. Yes, bologna sandwich. But today, we're going to working the shop, we're going to take one cylinder head off the Yukon again. As you saw previously in the last video, we found with a compression leak down test that on cylinder 8 it's blowing out past the exhaust valve. So we've either got a bent valve, cracked or broken seat, burnt valve, maybe one of the new valve springs is too weak to pull it back shut all the way. Whatever the case may be, it's bad and the head has to come off again. So that's what we're gonna do today. And of course this time it's still on the rack. We had pulled the wheel liner, pulled the exhaust manifold, and the intake and all that stuff's off as well. So let's get right into it. And I mean, you guys have already seen it off, or kind of the process of it coming off. So unless there's something fun to show you along the way, we'll just pick up when the head's off and show you what we see. Okay, so I've got the head off, and not super happy with what I see, but it does look like the valve may have fallen a little bit for whatever reason and touched the piston. They did have a little makeout session. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, there on the left, nice little round circle. That if you look at it, let's look at this piston for comparison. You don't see the same, I mean, you see the little relief cut for the valve to go in there, but no round circle where something's made contact like on this one. It does not appear to have gone through the top of the piston, I don't think, but it did make contact. Yeah, super not excited about that. Let's go look at the head. So this would be the exhaust valve for 8. I don't necessarily see anything with like the valve spring visually that looks like anything's broken. They still look pretty. I can't really see where it looks like this valve has dropped any further compared to the rest of them. I don't see that at all. And then let's look underneath, and you'll see, you know, he did number 1, 1, 2, 2, so on and so forth. So this would be the valve. And I don't really see anything that, again, stands out really any different than the face of it being shinier because it was making out with the piston, which it shouldn't have. They're not supposed to. You know, like 2 mils, they're not supposed to touch each other. So we'll get this to the machine shop, let them take a peek, tell me what they see, what they find, I don't know, and we'll go from there. We'll see what may have happened. and then I'll let you guys know.